The man was walking home from the bar when he saw a light in the window of his house. He went inside and found his wife sitting on the couch. She was dead. The man was horrified. He couldn't believe his eyes. His wife was sitting on the couch, but she was clearly dead. Her eyes were open and staring, and her skin was pale and cold. The man didn't know what to do. He stood there for a moment, frozen in shock. Then he heard a noise behind him. He turned around and saw a figure standing in the doorway. The figure was tall and thin, and it was wearing a long black coat. The man couldn't see the figure's face, but he could feel the coldness radiating from it. The figure raised its hand, and the man felt a sharp pain in his chest. He gasped and fell to the ground. The figure stepped over him and walked into the living room. The man watched helplessly as the figure reached out and touched his wife's cheek. The figure's hand was cold and clammy, and the man's wife's skin turned blue. The figure stood there for a moment, then turned and walked away. The man watched as the figure disappeared into the darkness. He knew that he was going to die. He closed his eyes and waited for the end, but the end never came. The man opened his eyes and saw that the figure was gone. He got up and ran away, not knowing where he was going. The man eventually found himself in a library. He went to the reference section and looked up the history of his town. He learned that the town had been founded by a group of witches. The witches had been banished from their homeland, and they had come to this town to start a new life. The man also learned that the witches had cursed the town. The curse said that anyone who married a witch would die a horrible death. The man realized that the figure was the ghost of his wife. She had been a witch, and she had been killed by the curse. The man was horrified. He knew that he was next. He decided to leave the town and never come back. He packed his belongings and left in the middle of the night. The man never saw the figure again, but he never forgot it either. He lived the rest of his life in fear, always wondering what would have happened if he had stayed in the town.